All right, I will call to order this listening session of the Bloomington City Council. We have 6 members here this evening. Councilmember Carter won't be here tonight for the listening session or for the regular meeting. She's out of town, so it will be the 6 of us for the rest of the evening. We've got a couple of people who pre-signed. Grant Wietenheimer and Miss Ness, Sally. Since Grant is not here yet, unless this is Grant. Are you Grant?
Yes.
Oh, Grant wins. Oh, come on in. Come on in.
How y'all doing?
You were the first on my list, so I was waiting for it.
Okay, great.
Great.
Brief.
All right.
Oh, I haven't done this before.
Oh, we try and keep it as relaxing and as informal as possible. So
Great. Oh,
well, you will have. I'm assuming you all are looking to speak again. Yes or no? Pardon? No?
Just a question.
Just a question. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll break it down. We'll try and give everybody, since we only have the 3, we'll kind of break it down into a 12-minute or a 10-minute chunk and
10 minutes.
off we'll go. So
Great.
good evening. Welcome. If you could identify yourself for the record, make sure you sign in when you're done and off we go. Go ahead.
Absolutely. My
Sign
name.
in afterward.
Okay, sounds good. My name is Grant Wietenheimer. Nice to meet you all. Mayor Bussey, council members. Thanks a lot for just giving me a chance to talk.
Sure.
So basically there's 3 reasons I'm here. I'd just like to introduce myself, introduce my business, and also discuss ordinance
Scrambling egg. Okay.
code.
All right.
Yeah, so my name is Grant Wietenheimer. I grew up in Bloomington. My family moved here when I was about 6 years old. It's a great place. Met all my friends here, BA and whatnot, and graduated from Jefferson in 2014. Basically, I developed a passion for the restaurant industry and started my business in Bloomington and basically just introduce myself to all of you and say hello. But yeah, so my business is called Scrambling Egg, and it's going to be a fast casual breakfast establishment. And I would love to have a brick and mortar spot, but money. So I'm starting out as a food truck right now.
Fair enough.
And thankfully, Bloomington, you did that. You expanded your food truck regulations, and I've been looking through them, and they're very fair. Basically, I mean, looking at other cities, they're a lot more restrictive. So I appreciate, kind of expanding it to food trucks because it's a great way to get people like me just kind of get a foot in the door. So, and I'd love to plant my flag in Bloomington and open a brick and mortar here and, kind of become a bigger part of the community. Because I was just a student before, a kid. I didn't know I'd be coming back to Bloomington, but here I am. But I should explain my menu too, just quick. It's because I would love for you all to come in and I'd love to serve you breakfast food. It's breakfast sandwiches, breakfast bowls. We'll make our own focaccia bread. And the breakfast bowls is a rice and quinoa blend. And you choose your veggies, choose your meat, choose your sauce. And then I'm actually going to partner up with Paul at Sunrise Donuts. And I'll sell donuts as well, just for grab and go. Because it's going to be a food truck, of course. So I got to really prioritize being quick. And that's kind of the whole business model for Scrambling Egg is I want fast casual breakfast food because I understand a lot of people are in a rush in the morning, so they skip breakfast. But yeah, that's my business. And I actually have a menu if you guys would like a menu. Okay.
Always share.
Great. I actually have a picture of my food truck as well, if you'd like to see
So
that.
that was going to be my question. You actually have the truck, the physical truck already?
Sorry, it's a food trailer, I should say.
Okay.
It's a nice little rustic trailer. I bought it in Colorado because I went out in school there. And I'm working on customizing it right now, so I had to do a little Photoshop and put my brand on there. But I'll have signs on there and I'll get it painted. And I've been working on it a lot, and it's looking really nice.
So where do you expect to be parked?
Well, I'm going to be moving around from location to location, of course, and that's actually the third thing I'd like to talk about in the city code is, like I said, the rules are really good and I'm happy with them. Like the hours between, you can't operate between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. And that works just fine for me because I plan on being open at 7 a.m. If I have a brick and mortar someday, it'll be 5 a.m., but whatever. But the one thing I'd like to just bring up and talk about and see if there's little leeway on it, see if there's something we could work out. It's being located within 250 feet of residential properties. There are about 4 locations that I was looking at. It was the Ace Hardware on Old Shakopee, Gas for Less, and then Bobby and Steve's on Normandale Boulevard. And I was actually talking with the owners at Cal's Market and Wagner's Greenhouse right down the street there, because property's for lease. And they're super open to having me park there, but it is located within 250 feet of a residential property. But yeah, I mean, I imagine the main concern with that is noise. And I did a lot of research with my generator. It's a it's called the Predator Super Quiet Generator. And it's actually got super quiet. It's the second thing in there because it is very quiet. It's very powerful. It operates at 65 decibels. So it's not too loud. I don't think it'd be too much of a hindrance for residential areas. But yeah, that's about it really, I guess.
And is the nursery location, is that the only one that's within?
No, sorry, it was those four.
Four of them.
I should say the Ace Hardware with the layout of their parking lot. I'd like to be close to Old Shakopee so people can see me, of course.
And then you'd cross to Old Shakopee. Okay.
That's the main thing. I need people to see me and stop. But if I move up into their parking lot, I'll be more away from Old Shakopee. And then I won't be 250, or I will be 250 feet away from a residential property. And of course, I'd like to follow the rules and.
Well, we'd like you to follow the rules, so that's good.
So
You're right. I mean, what we're trying to do with the distance regulations, and what we typically do with any distance regulations, is make sure that we balance between businesses that want to operate as early as 7 a.m. and people who might want to sleep in a little bit longer than 7 a.m.
Right.
Some kids who need to sleep in a little bit longer for whatever reason. So we're trying to balance those two things. And I don't even know in our ordinance if we included any appeal or.
I would, I'll take a look.
I don't even know. I don't think we did, but I can't recall that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I don't know how it works, but it says on the end, it says unless otherwise approved by the city council.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Please.
So,
Okay.
yes, right. So two things. One, congrats. This is great.
Oh, thank you.
Exactly what we wanted to have happen is new people figuring out ways to leverage the food truck business here in Bloomington. And hopefully you can be based in Bloomington, but then all the Twin Cities is your potential oyster, which is
Oh, yeah.
two things. One, I know I've mentioned this before, but there is I had asked a while back about whether or not we can do variances for licensing, similarly the way we do variances for zoning and other things like that. I don't know if you have a point of view on that at this point, but this would be an example of where, unless approved, we could come up and do a variance for your particular business license if we are able to figure out how to do that. So that's one option we can look into, I think. And then the second was more of a question. Those four locations, are they the only location options for you today? Or are we hindering your ability to get launched?
Oh, no, definitely not. I have a huge list of businesses and I've started talking to a few of them. These were just the only four that were. So it's really not that big of an issue, but I'd love to have just as much opportunity as possible.
Sure.
So yeah, there's countless others that are spaced.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good news. I wanted to make sure we understood the severity of it as it
Yeah.
impedes your business model or anything like that. So,
Yep.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Wait, you have a question?
Yeah, so, you talk about, because noise and light, we talk about 8 o'clock to 10, like this kind of, is it necessary to run that generator all the time, to do your business as it is, or is there any way around that?
Well, if I'm parked in a location where I could plug straight into their building, then I won't need the generator. But that'll just come down to if that's even an option for properties. But for the most part, I do imagine I'll need the generator. Because I'm heating stuff up like crazy, so it takes a lot of power.
I guess my follow-up question would be for you. So, any of those locations, have you checked with any of the residential, kind of do a survey at all to see kind of how they'd feel about that at all?
I haven't done that. So really, I should say the main two that I was looking at is that Ace Hardware. And it's just one house. And so, I mean, I don't know if I would love to, I'd talk to them if.
And that's what we have to look into. I don't even know if we have that provision available that, if we can get the neighbors to sign off on something and we do a waiver.
But just curious if you did any, just kind of,
Don't even know.
I know there's not I just was curious if you had looked at it at all.
And I should say the Cal's Marketplace, it's the apartment across the street, so that one would be more tricky. I talked to them all if I had to, but we'll see.
Wrapping up time here, Patrick, quick question?
Yeah, just briefly, I think potentially for future discussions, because I know in terms of distance, we always talk about away from residential. But this is right next to one of the busiest arterial streets in the city anyway. So I'm curious how much noise that traffic is generating and if that's something we consider in noise standard.
Point.
And if I may, Mr. Mayor and council members, in addition to noise, we also want to be sensitive to odors or aromas that come from food trucks, because most people would say they like those aromas rather than odors. So, there are multiple reasons for distance separators. But I had the same thought as Councilmember Martin, that what we can maybe take a look at is classification of roads, and if there's some way to manage it that way.
That's a good point.
Right, yeah, it's first edition, right? We haven't had this out very long, so
Oh, I
it's good
see.
for us to come back with ideas.
Oh, definitely. And I'd love to, oh, sorry. I'd love to help other food trucks as well. I don't know. It's like, I want to help others as well. Like I said, kind of become a part of the community and bring other businesses in here. So,
Grant, well, thank you very much for being with us.
yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Can I give you guys a sticker?
Sure. Sure.
Got my,
Can I get a menu?
absolutely.
So hey, I got another question for you.
Yeah.
Some stuff on here?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I have the breakfast bowls on there, because it'll all be gluten free then, because it's a rice and quinoa blend.
Okay.
I won't have like gluten-free bread though, because we're gonna make her. I got a small menu. It's a small trailer. You got to get the bowl. The bowl is my favorite.
Okay.
It's healthy. It's filling. It's a good way to start your morning.
If we can get past all my allergies, so.
Thank you, Grant.
Yeah.
Some vegan chorizo.
Sally, you want to join us?
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I gotta give everyone a sticker. Sorry. Did you get one?
I got one.
Thank you, Sally.
Thanks. At the last listening session, I spoke about concern with the city's inability to answer the yes or no question whether there was a development review committee meeting concerning the city code change to add retail and medical offices to R1. At the listening session, the city finally answered there was not. When I inquired further, it was not well received. Next to 82 Owen Park, and it is overused and non-compliant and should not be. And the reason to further inquire about the city process. There was not a DRC meeting because city does not have a DRC meeting for either privately initiated or city council directed city code changes, and there should be. A city code change should be scrutinized and various departments should weigh in on the impact to other properties, both in the zone and not. If there were a DRC meeting, important questions would have been asked and addressed before the planning commission and city council hearings, and the concerns would be on record to refer to. Concerning the city code change to allow parking lots open through the night, if there was an official meeting, the previous request to change the city code and concerns that resulted in the city removing the request from being voted on by the council could have been referenced. Previously, a use through the night would have required a yearly hearing and city council approval. Residents would have been able to address the council with concerns such as noise and light pollution, where council could have required the concerns be addressed or decline the request. Currently, the Smith Park parking lot has cars entering and exiting after 10 p.m. for a building with an approved assembly for 300. DF lot has 150 parking spaces, more than enough for 300, yet patrons fill the lot, the DF lot, Smith Park lot, and the street against the city on-street parking policy. Concerning the city code change to add unapproved uses to FD-2, if there was an official meeting, it is likely that someone would have asked about how the change would affect other FD-2 properties and properties adjacent to FD-2 properties. Instead, the data, such as the staff report, indicates the city only inquired about the Afrique Center. Discussion concerning other properties does not come up until staff is questioned, and the response includes the following from June 2021. The industrial zoning district do not allow standalone retail uses due to land use balance concerns. Preserves areas of the city for manufacturing and ancillary industrial activities. Retail areas would suffer as they lose tenants to lower priced industrial areas. That would put further negative pressure on the city's neighborhood commercial nodes, which already have vacancy issues. Staff believes that a business incubator with shops with other cultural development activities could foster a mix of new businesses and is unlikely to compete with traditional retail areas due to small startup tenants not being able to afford higher costs. Their plans include a broad range of uses, several of which are allowed in FD-2 as standalone uses. Again, the Afrique Center plan includes several uses that were already allowed in FD-2. The use that was not and will have the greatest negative impact is assembly. There should have been a DRC meeting concerning the development of FD-2 and the impact the city code change would have on all properties, especially FD-2 zone properties, and especially the need to preserve areas of the city for manufacturing and ancillary industrial activities. Concerning the city code change to add retail medical office to R1, if there was an official meeting, it is likely that someone would have asked about how the change would affect properties in R1, specifically whether the city would be able to limit the addition of retail and medical office to one institutional use and decline institutional uses if requested. Instead, the data, such as the staff report, indicates the city only inquired about Northwestern. Discussion concerning other properties does not come up until the city is questioned, and the response includes stating the city does not believe it would not be able to decline other institutional uses making similar requests. The city should know for certain it would be able to decline other requests. The data should also have addressed whether there was a shortage of office space. It's not. And if there was, whether it should be located in R1 zone property. The June 2021 reply concerning Afrique Center that states another land use balance argument is that the retail areas would suffer as they lose tenants to lower priced industrial areas would indicate it should not. Last week, I also asked the city to correct the minutes from December 19, 2022 that stated screenshots were shared of photos referenced at a prior listening session as having ended up on Islamophobic websites. The photos that were shared had nothing to do with the mayor's inaccurate statement. He was posting pictures on anti-Islamic websites or the council inaccurately saying they ended up online, and the minutes should reflect this. Thanks.
Thank you.
We can be brief. I don't know if we sign in here, Mayor.
Sure, please come on up.
Nobody wants to go after that, eh?
I know.
What kind of food you have?
Oh, you know, down minutes to dinner now.
We should have brought something, actually.
You don't have to, no. They are really cute.
My husband's going to be very excited about that, though. I will say.
They are really cute.
Are they? Oh, and they are.
Stickers.
Yeah.
That is pretty cute.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
For the record, if you, your names, just so we have them on the record.
Laura Hunt,
Kim Vlasovich.
Kim V.
Kim V.
We would love to hear from you, Mr. Mayor, and the council, what the next steps are for the R2 zoning proposal and what your thoughts are so far.
I think the next steps are, it will be, again, we're running into a lot of
Calendar issues.
calendar issues. That's a nice way.
Sure.
We have a lot of folks going on spring break and vacations and just trying to get out of town, basically. And so we want to make sure that we do this with the whole council. So our next opportunity to talk about it will be.
First meeting in May is when it'll come back for council discussion.
And your question about our thoughts on this, it was pretty evident, the fact we talked about it for 4 hours the other night. In fact,
For sharing.
I mean, yeah, despite what some people think that, we come to council meetings and everything is, the cake is baked already. You saw the other night, the cake is not baked.
Yeah.
And we don't do that kind of thing. We don't do the backroom conversations, full well to be a violation of the open meeting law if we came to some sort of discussion and decision as to what we're trying to accomplish. And frankly, I'm hesitant to even do it here just because it's a limited audience right now.
Sure.
When we're going to have this conversation, it's going to be back in the council chambers again with all the lights and cameras and action on, and we're going to have the conversation so everybody can hear how we get from where we are now to where we're eventually going to be. And staff will provide information. If council has questions, we email the city manager, who then distributes them to the appropriate staff member to answer those questions for us. All of that would be open to public scrutiny and public records. As we then get back together for the conversation, it's all right out in front of everybody. And so, I hate to say, we're not going to answer, but I just don't think this is the time or the place to answer, because this is a big deal. And we've got we've had a long conversation, and I think it's going to continue, but I want to make sure that it's done correctly and publicly in front of everybody else.
No, I appreciate that. I think that's very fair. There's a lot of people who are invested in this. And so I think it's great to
Without question.
open it up to make sure that everybody is available for that conversation.
Yep.
Obviously, it is a big topic, and we just want to make sure that it is staying in the forefront of everyone's minds, knowing that you have a lot of other things on your dockets and agendas. So I want to make sure that I understand the process correctly so that I can attend the meeting and be prepared for myself. Is there any sort of time limit then to the conversation that night? I know that we're trying to be cognizant of you all have lives outside of this, and so 11 o'clock gets to be late. But for that line by line itemized conversation, is there a time limit, or will you just have the conversation until you feel good about?
I think yes. Knowing this group, that's typically what we do.
Okay.
We just talk until we're done talking a lot of times. I don't think, we closed the public hearing, so there won't be a public hearing.
Okay.
But it will be, as we pushed it forward, pushed it off because we did want to have that conversation. We want to look at each possible option and look at it line by line. And I don't think, no, I'm not going to sit there and put a stopwatch and say, nope, we've talked for 3 minutes, we're done with this one, let's move on. We'll talk until we've come to a consensus as to where we need to be.
Okay. And so then the May 1st, by the end of that meeting, hopefully the goal is that we
God willing. I mean,
have
yes.
a solidified.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor and Council, I don't think the intent is to act on anything on May 1st.
Okay.
The intent is
Okay.
for the council to coalesce around a recommendation, and staff will then bring it back
Sure.
for an actual decision at a subsequent meeting after that.
Yep. Thanks for clarifying that. John?
So if we coalesce around something, would there be another public hearing when it was brought back?
Mr. Mayor and council members, my thought and staff's discussion about this is that we've already had 2 public hearings on this issue, that it's well-covered territory. And unless there is a substantial change to the ordinance, that we would not need to notice it.
Okay, no, please.
If I might then, based on what you hear that evening, because you've never been hesitant to do, reach out to the
Sure.
council if you do have any substantial questions, concerns, or anything like that. So
And you'll see the staff report. The staff report will come forward with the different options, possibilities, whatever. And then it's the conversation that we ultimately come to. If we don't act on it that evening, then you have the opportunity to.
I appreciate that comment. I think that was maybe one of the concerns, was that if there was a significant change, or I know that you had talked about adding some items, which everything's on the table at this point, and we just wanted to make sure that if there were significant changes, that we would have an opportunity to speak to either council or Mr. Mayor individually, or through a public hearing, if that were an option.
Fair enough. Well,
Yeah, so I'm curious if I can, is it okay if I maybe pose a question to these 2 folks just for some clarification?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's.
Making sure I'm following protocol here. So you both live in very different parts of the city. And so I'm kind of curious if meaning you have maybe a different perspective on how you're approaching this. And so I'm kind of curious as to, is there a coalescing on your, like, from a public perspective that you want us to know now or want to share now? Or is this just the fact that, there are a number of people obviously paying attention to this whole thing in the city, and you guys just happen to know each other or whatever? I want to make sure that we're addressing it, appropriately
Yeah,
for you.
definitely.
If there's a coalescing in your, in the public spaces that you're kind of representing, if you want to share that with us, I think we'd love to hear that too.
Yeah. Do you want me to? So I think, prior to this, I didn't know Laura. We kind of joined and met each other at the council meeting, realizing it was kind of a similar situation. And so we thought, maybe we'd come together and approach the council together to talk through it, as opposed to death by 1,000 cuts, if you will, going through all these agenda items and never, doing anything productive. So we thought we'd just come together and with some neighbors and kind of see process the next step. We both are plugged in. Laura's far more, articulate and has been more knowledgeable than myself. I'm a little bit late to the party, but definitely as a neighborhood, we're active and we talk, and, anything that we can do to engage, be more collaborative, plug in to council staff, whatever, we would love that opportunity.
Yeah, no, that's great. I appreciate that. I just wanted to
If that
make
makes
sure.
sense.
It totally does. I just wanted to make sure we understood if there were certain elements or aspects of it that were kind of, being bubbling to the top for you all, that we got that input here if you had it. If not, that's okay, because, we have a million ways to be in touch with each other between now and the time that this gets voted on. So I just wanted to be sure that if you had anything, we gave you the forum to address that now. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I think just to expand on what Kim was saying, I think there are a lot of people that are very passionate about this, and there are a lot of different neighborhoods. They're very diverse. We talked about that at the council meeting. And so we are just two neighborhoods, two voices. And I think at the end of the day, we just want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to be aware of the potential change and have the opportunity to share their feelings, because there are going to be positives and negatives to any change that comes. And so it isn't that we're, gung ho leading this, charge towards stopping something. It's really truly, let's make sure everyone is aware. Let's make sure everyone has an opportunity to share their thoughts. And then we truly come together and find an option that works the best for the entire community, because that's really difficult to do with the diversity. And so it's a challenge. I don't think that there's an easy answer to that. So.
Wayne?
Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Full transparency, Kim called me earlier today, and so I want to ask this question. So if a neighborhood wanted to bring something forward or a coalition of neighborhood, would they come to this here, or would it be better to write that, have a meeting with the manager? How would you handle that? What's the most appropriate way? So I know we want to be careful about open meeting law and folks having the chance to understand what they're putting forward. We haven't really had a situation like this.
No, what do you think?
Period in between.
Mr. Bruce?
Mr. Mayor and council members, I would recommend that residents work through a council member and have a council member surface that during the conversation. If it's,
Meeting or something, or?
no, during the
During the
conversation on May 1st.
May 1st? Okay.
If it's a recommendation that's worth considering, that have the council member add that to the conversation.
Yep.
I think is the best way to do that.
Very good.
Very good. Anything else?
Awesome.
No, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Against your
Help.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Good to see you again.
Appreciate your time.
Anybody else want 2 minutes?
We're all in the.
That's what I.
Already trying to.
Great volunteer.
We're already preparing for.
Anybody else coming forward for our listening session? I would like for a motion to. Second. A motion and a second to adjourn our listening session.
Hi.
Adjourned. See you downstairs in 17 minutes.